The woman had only just finalized her divorce from the man, when, unexpectedly, the man became the head of the pawnshop. Rumors said the pawnshop could pawn a person's body and soul, and those who met the conditions of the transaction could have any wish fulfilled. Countless people longed to curry favor with the pawnshop master, in hopes of gaining a chance to make a deal. What shocked the woman the most was that this person was the man she had always looked down on. It turned out the man had always been the heir of the pawnshop. Legend said the pawnshop could pawn anything in the world. It was coveted by countless nobles and wealthy families, but for the woman he loved, the man was willing to give up his heir status, even to pawn everything he owned, just to grant his wife wealth and prestige. Yet after she achieved fame and fortune, she despised him as useless, and secretly conspired with the scheming man, planning to push him off the roof. Little did they know, the man had been aware of their actions all along. 3 days ago, the man, who had pawned all his organs, was home alone when the pawnshop manager came to inform him. The old master, dissatisfied with the pawnshop being closed for years, ordered 5 of the contracts on the man to be suspended, and gave him 7 days to decide: either remain a blind and crippled man, or return to take over the pawnshop. The man hadn't yet understood the master's intentions. He still thought his relationship with his wife was unbreakable. That night, he saw the woman and the scheming man being intimate in front of him. The last thread of hope in his heart shattered instantly. The love he thought was strong had in fact already rotted from within. Understanding the truth, the man no longer hesitated. He ordered his subordinates to tear up the 5 contracts, then prepared to return to take over the pawnshop. His subordinates told him that because the woman had enjoyed the contract's resources, once destroyed, she would suffer a backlash 10,000 times over within 10 days. Yet the man did not waver. He destroyed the contracts directly, and signed the appointment documents for the pawnshop. Meanwhile, the major noble families noticed the pawnshop was reopening, and were willing to offer their entire fortunes, in exchange for a chance to transact with the pawnshop. On the other hand, the woman also heard from friends that the pawnshop was reopening. The scheming man, learning how miraculous the pawnshop was, immediately used sweet words to coax her, claiming he was willing to exchange a day of his life for her health. The woman was moved, and was about to give herself to the scheming man. At that moment, the man suddenly appeared, interrupting them. The scheming man, to humiliate him, deliberately handed him a cup of boiling water, hoping he would be embarrassed. Unexpectedly, the man had already recovered, and turned the trick back on the scheming man. His screams echoed throughout the room. The man deliberately questioned the woman why there was another man's voice in the house. The woman panicked, saying the scheming man was just a poor student she had sponsored in the past, and had come to report work. The man didn't expose her. Instead, he quietly apologized to the scheming man, who had no choice but to endure the pain silently. Soon, the next day, the heads of the major noble families gathered in front of the pawnshop, bringing their wealth, hoping for a chance to transact. The woman also came with the scheming man. Everyone mistakenly thought the woman was familiar with the master, and rushed to flatter her. Just as she was privately pleased, the manager announced the arrival of the new pawnshop master. But when the woman turned, she saw the man standing there. She realized her husband could not only walk, but even see with his eyes. The woman was shocked and insecure, while the scheming man arrogantly hugged her, claiming they had been close since university.